China got caught using coal trucks to transport cooking oil. Beijing is hosting Hamas-Fatah talks again, and Chinese e-commerce is refusing to sell Donald Trump t-shirts. All that and more on this week's China News Headlines. Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell, and this episode is sponsored by Surfshark. Whenever you go online, you should be using a VPN like Surfshark to cover your tracks and protect your identity. I'll tell you more at the end. China is aghast at yet another food scandal. This time after Chinese state-run media reported that these same trucks transport cooking oil and a form of coal without cleanings in between to cut costs. The resulting scandal is like nothing China has seen since the 2008 tainted milk scandal, when 6 babies died from contaminated baby formula. But that's not the craziest part of this story. The craziest part is that state-run Beijing News reported the story.
It came out in state-run media here, and that in itself is quite interesting because in the past, the Communist Party's media outlets have been accused of covering up scandals like this, and this time it's been published. But once one, Beijing News reported it, well, China's Central Television followed. They're accusing these companies of what is, almost the same as poisoning ordinary people.
Dare we hope that the CCP is learning and changing its censorship practices? The scandal outraged Chinese citizens, and social media platforms like Weibo and Douyin have absolutely exploded. That is, until CCP censors took most of the posts down, leaving just a handful behind. There's the CCP we know and know. To get the story, Beijing News followed several tanker trucks in their journeys around China and discovered that they carried a type of hydrocarbon that gets converted into liquid fuel and other chemicals, dropped them off, and then picked up soybean oil without being cleaned. And here I thought it was gross when people didn't clean their pans between meals. Implicated in the report were 2 companies, state-run Sinograin and private Hopeful Grain and Oil Group. Sinograin says it started an internal probe into the matter and vowed to punish employees who had violated rules. So all this is definitely disgusting, but will it really impact public health? You betcha. One expert from Australia said this can cause not only poisoning, like short-term or long-term poisoning, this poisoning can have fatal effects on people's vital organs. Vital organs, huh? Sounds like people might need those. Meanwhile, another expert, also from Australia, said that if there's a strange smell or taste in the cooking oil, hopefully people would stop using it, but that there's other chemicals that could be carried that don't have a taste. So why are Australian experts getting involved? Well, because the Australian Department of Agriculture has confirmed that one of the implicated companies has been exporting to Australia, which means Australian food, which is basically just British prisoner food, could somehow be even more disgusting. Worryingly, the Australian government still hasn't told the public which company exported to the land down under, but they've decided to ban importing cooking oil from China and start conducting their own tests on imported products just to be safe. I'm kidding. They're just going to ask China for more assurances that cooking oils exported to Australia are safe for consumption, considering that the Chinese Communist Party lies on the regular, has been embroiled in several food scandals over the past several years, and that it was an open secret in the transport industry that the trucks weren't cleaned between deliveries. I don't think any such assurances will be very comforting. And after the break, China responds to the Trump assassination attempt. Welcome back. Chinese e-commerce sites were quick to put up t-shirts featuring the massively viral picture of the assassination attempt on former US President Donald Trump, and even quicker to take them down. The first batch of such t-shirts went on sale on e-commerce site Taobao less than 3 hours after the shooting happened, according to the South China Morning Post. And they sold just as quickly. One Taobao seller told the news outlet that she put the shirts on sale as soon as she read the news, and within 3 hours, she had 2,000 orders from both China and the US. But as of the afternoon of July 15th, listings of the t-shirt appear to have been taken down from the website. Even posts on Weibo about the t-shirt being listed have been removed and censored. I guess the Chinese Communist Party couldn't have another world leader look as tough as an elderly Captain America when Xi Jinping looks like a character from a different Disney-owned property. The attack became a hot topic on Chinese social media platforms like Weibo. On Sunday, the Chinese Foreign Ministry released a statement saying that the country is closely following the incident and that Xi Jinping has expressed sympathies to former President Trump, which I assume were about as genuine and organic as Trump's tan. But the shooting was the top trending topic on Weibo, with the entry "Trump was shot" garnering over 300 million views and generating lots of discussion. And according to Voice of America, not only did it dominate the views, but at one point, half of the top 20 searches on the website were related to the shooting. Many of these were updates, political analysis, or opportunities to sell those t-shirts. But other posts included conspiracy theories. A former executive editor of state-run Xinhua news agency's World Military said on Weibo that after looking at clips from the scene and observing Trump's remarkably swift reaction, that isn't something ordinary people can react to. Yeah, ordinary people. But as I said on our other channel, America Uncovered, these are the reflexes you get on a diet of McDonald's and Diet Coke, the fuel of peak human performance. Other Weibo users speculated that this was practiced hundreds of times by Trump, agreeing with the theory, which faced mockery by other Weibo users, who pointed out that Trump's ear injury was just centimeters away from his brain. I'm sure he just practiced that a lot. The Chinese Communist Party is preparing to host another round of Palestinian unity talks between rival factions Hamas and Fatah. The meeting follows an earlier one in China this year, as well as several rounds of unity talks between the two sides over the better part of a decade. None have met with success, which is shocking because China has such a long history of bringing peace and stability to any region they show up in. In fact, Hamas, an Iran-backed, internationally designated terror group, and Fatah were supposed to have this meeting in China earlier this summer, but it was delayed with both sides blaming each other for the postponement. You know it's bad when the CCP is the adult in the room. Even they were like, how are we the responsible ones right now? China is trying to displace U.S. influence in the Middle East, just as it is around the world. Which is why the CCP feigns interest in being an honest broker for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, as well as the Russia-Ukraine war. I doubt anyone is really buying it, though, just like those Trump t-shirts after some CCP meddling. According to the New York Times, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi will meet with Fatah and Hamas representatives on July 21st and again on July 23rd. Officials from both sides will meet on their own in between. Analysts are not optimistic about the outcome of these talks. Jonathan Schnauzer of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy said that China is not likely to end this feud between Hamas and Fatah, noting the previous unsuccessful rounds to broker a political unification. And he thinks that the CCP understands this, but that the optics are important to Iran and the Arab world. Thus, going through the motions of diplomacy is important for Beijing. Which is totally fine, because it's not like Beijing has anything more important to worry about, like, oh, I don't know, food safety? And after the break, China's economy is still going down the toilet. Welcome back. China and Russia, those no-limits partners, have started joint naval drills in the South China Sea. Meanwhile, Ukraine says that Russia's last naval patrol ship has left Crimea, most likely to rebase elsewhere. I wonder if elsewhere includes the South China Sea. The naval drills began on Sunday, while the same day saw a separate joint naval patrol in the same area. China, of course, claims the exercises are natural and don't target any other parties. Joint Sea, the name of the exercise, has been an ongoing event since 2012, according to a Russian Ministry of Defense release on this year's exercise. The exercise was launched from the southern city of Zhanjiang, which houses the People's Liberation Army's Navy South Sea Fleet. On Monday, the PLAN and Russian ships left the port for their sea-based activities. But Japan has been concerned enough about these activities to track Russian ships traveling to China for the exercises. Over the past week, Japan has reported that Russian and Chinese surveillance assets have been operating near Japan. In particular, a Russian Navy surveillance ship was sighted in an area southwest of Tsushima and later sailed between Okinawa and Miyako Islands, where key Japanese and U.S. military bases are located. Japan also revealed that the same day, a Chinese TB-001 attack and reconnaissance drone flew through the same area from the East China Sea in order to enter the Philippine Sea before going to the Bashi Channel. That area lies between the Philippines and Taiwan. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. Also on Monday, China posted lower growth than expected for the second quarter. And since that's official data, you know the real situation is much worse. But Monday was also the start of a major meeting of the Chinese Communist Party called the Third Plenum. And the meeting was focused on the economy. State-run news agency Xinhua revealed that at the meeting, Xi opened up with a work report and expounded on a decision of the Communist Party Central Committee on further comprehensively deepening reform and advancing Chinese modernization. But that's all talk. With the CCP facing an aging population, a real estate crisis, and weakening domestic consumption, all after the havoc the pandemic wreaked on the economy. And that's not even to mention the trade tensions and tariffs the EU and the US are imposing on China. So Xi Jinping is probably feeling a lot of pressure right about now. Now I want to give a big thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this episode. When you go online, everything you do is potentially compromised unless you're taking active steps to protect yourself. No matter where you live, no matter what you do online, you should always be keeping your internet activity private with a VPN like Surfshark, especially when you're doing things like logging into your bank account or credit card online. If you ever use shared Wi-Fi, you're in danger. Hackers can easily steal your password without you even knowing it. And when you travel, especially overseas, you might need a VPN that makes it look like you're logging in from your home country just to get into your accounts. So it saves a huge potential hassle. And you can install it on as many devices as you want, even on your Amazon Fire TV stick. It's great if you want to make it appear like you're logged in from a different country, so you can access all the good Netflix shows that are geo-blocked. So seriously, check out Surfshark. Go to surfshark.com/uncensored and you'll get 4 months extra when you sign up. That's surfshark.com/uncensored or use the code uncensored at checkout. The link is in the description below. And I've got a video I want you to watch. War is hell. And when it comes to civilians getting caught up in it, the moral lines between good and survival break down. That's the lesson of the game, This War of Mine, where the choices you make about your band of survivors get personal. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.